We got to make sure you don't have. Oh, there's Gabriel. We got to make sure you don't have echo, and that everybody keeps background noise to a minimum.
Jay is correct. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching the Masters Beer Reviews channel of YouTube and company with special guest Gabriel Celia. Our viewer is now here on the channel from the Phoenix, Arizona. And we have, as usual, John Anile from Georgia, home of neo-Nazi riots over the weekend. You tell us about that later. We got Michael Komaroff from Brooklyn, New York, and Jay Terrio from Louisiana Beer Reviews. Today's review is if you got a Belgian beer, cool, or just any old kind of any Belgian style beer for the evening is the topic. So today I am bringing from a local beer company. This is from the Bog Iron Brewing Company, established in 2011 in Norton, Massachusetts. This is their Lord, L-O-U-R-D, a Belgian-style triple at 9.3%, and the website says 80 IBUs. It's crazy.
Never heard of that one.
What do you got, Jay?
Probably good, though. Well, I have the most famous Belgian beer.
Oh, whoa.
It's been on the market for 90 years.
All right, Blue Moon. Woo. No.
This is from Belgium. It's been on the market for 90 years, 91 years.
All right.
It's called Stella Artois.
Nice.
Artois Star. And I have a 22 point. It's 5% alcohol. It's from Leuven, Belgium. They can trace their heritage back to 1366, although this particular brand has only been out since 1927.
Nice.
And it's 22.4 ounces. Yep. And
excellent.
Eric, what was the manufacturer of your beer? What was the company?
It's called Bog Iron Brewing.
Bog Iron with a B?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I guess Norton, Massachusetts is famous for, or is historically known for, mining of bog iron. Go figure. For using in like musket balls during the Civil War, I believe. So there you go.
The war against the South. Okay.
And Michael Komaroff, what do you have to bring tonight?
I have one that John Anile is very familiar with called Victory Golden Monkey.
Oh, he knows nothing about that beer.
9%, and again, it's a Belgian-style triple.
Excellent. 2 triples tonight. What is your beer, John Anile?
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, so far.
Okay. I mean, I can hear you guys fine, but I seem to always have audio issues when there's an echo. Yes. So I have the Sour Monkey, which is the golden monkey that Michael has, but it's aged, it's soured, it's got the lactobacillus added, and it's aged in oak barrels for 3 months, and it still sits at 9.5%, and everything else is the same as what Michael has, except it's just a soured version of that beer.
Excellent. And if Gabriel Celia has brought a beer, what are you drinking this evening, Gabriel? We'll get back to Gabriel Celia.
May not have a lot of success there tonight.
That is all right. Fellow viewer wanted to join, and I said, "Why the hell not?" All right, so let's do.
Are we ready to put them into the glasses?
Yeah, I got mine. I got mine already in. I think Jay's got his poured.
Pour mine.
Yeah, give us the a nose and a nose aroma look of your beer, Jay. I think we've all had Stella before, though.
Well, I poured Stella Artois, and my friend Paul, you might remember, he used to hang out with us on the Hangouts, but he wasn't able to anymore. I was talking to him this afternoon. He says, "Oh, I love to drink Stella Artois," and then people don't give me a hard time like if I was drinking Budweiser. but
classier beer.
Well, you know, it's marketed that way. It was started as a Christmas beer. Well, I'm getting a thick. It was a Christmas specialty, and it became their flagship. A thick white head in this Stella Artois glass, and I want to thank the Southern Eagle Distributing Company for giving me the 4 glasses. That was very nice. And it's golden, not straw, but golden and bubbly and very clear. Oh, and the aroma. Okay.
And the aroma.
All right. So it's got that gold rim glass. I rarely use this 4 set. You pick up the grassy hops. It's not skunked. You pick up grassy hops, biscuity malt, maybe some corn flakes, you know, because they use corn flakes, or as they say on the website, flaked maize, you know. And I'll mention one more thing. The back of the bottle says January 2019, so that's the best by date.
Excellent.
So everything's looking okay right here.
Cool. We have the Golden Monkey in Brooklyn, New York, with Michael Komaroff. What's your looks and aromas on that beer?
The way I poured it, it has a frothy, maybe 2-finger. Is that about a 2-finger head?
Sure.
And white head, and it's also clear, and there's a lot of carbonation in it, a heavy carbonation stream going from the bottom to the top. It's also a golden, clear golden color. Let me give it the strongest smell I get, the strongest nose I get is of some yeast. I'm sure they're using a Belgian yeast too, and that's what the nose is. Very nice nose too.
Excellent. How does Sour Monkey differ from Golden Monkey, Victory Brewing Company, John and LA?
The Sour Monkey is just delightful. It's got the same appearance, and it had a similar head to Michael Komaroff's.
Nice glass.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's an Allagash glass.
Another Belgian style beer company from Portland, Maine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah, this smell, I mean, it's super clear. It's very filtered, pretty prickly and carbonated. It's got the Tripel notes to it. It's got maybe a little allspice, some it's got some interesting notes to it, maybe some coriander, but it's very mild, and you get that sour smell up front, which if you've ever had a sour beer, you know what I'm talking about. It just I mean that is the foremost aroma that you get. It smells really good. It's very clean on the nose. I mean, 9.5% ABV. I'm not getting any alcohol on the aroma.
Boom.
I mean, just a beautiful looking beer in the glass. Got a great nose, and I can't wait to get into it.
All right. Gabriel Celia, did you bring a beer? And if so, what did you bring?
This one, look.
Land Shark. There
Yes.
you go.
That's the one I have.
Excellent. What can you tell us about the appearance, aromas, all those good things?
Golden beer.
Crack that open. What does that smell like to you?
Like sweet.
Obviously, his is going to be closest to what I'm drinking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's from the same company.
Wow.
Like Kawama beer.
Lawnmower beer, exactly.
No,
you said
Kawama.
Corona. You said Corona.
Oh,
No, Kawama.
Kawama.
Caguama. Oh, yeah, I've had that. I didn't like it.
The one from Guatemala, Salvador.
Right.
Ow,
Caguama.
okay.
Caguama, the tortoise.
Hey, I've had a
That's
land
the
shark
sweetness.
before.
What did you think
Yeah,
of
that's
Land
sweetness.
Shark, Michael Komaroff?
It was okay.
That's sweetness style.
All right.
Caribbean
Sounds
style.
good. So I have this beer called Lord. I believe it's spelled Lord, Lourd again. Belgian style Tripel. I got it in a Chimay glass that that's not holding any head, but that just could be the style of this particular beer. It's very orangey, It's not really rich in sediment, but it's kind of cloudy, like an unfiltered or like a unpasteurized or not or like orange juice that has some kind of pulp in it. It looks like that. It kind of has a musty smell a little bit. There's a little bit of an orangey kind of a note to it. There's definitely some graininess to it. I'm not really smelling 9.3% alcohol by volume. There is a tiny bit of like a tart sourness to it. Not a big one. There might be a little bit of a lemoniness and like maybe even a smaller amount of like a lemony, juicy kind of a quality to it. But that's really all that I'm getting. It's not the biggest style nose on the planet. All the website says, the bogironbrewing.com says, is it says this beer brings complex aromas and flavors that range from spicy phenolic to fruity estery with a sweet-ish finish. And they say triples are notoriously alcoholic, so this beer was crafted to hide alcohol character, making the beer evilly deceiving.
What's the ABV?
Do I see Eric the Lions fan? Or is he hiding there, not wanting to let us know he's there?
I don't know.
He's there, all right.
It's 9.3% and 80 IBUs, Jay.
Oh, right. I thought that's what it was.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Erica Lions fan. Do you have a Belgian beer this evening? Or
I
Belgian
do not
style?
have a Belgian beer. I was just going to be quiet and listen to you guys.
You going to drink anything while you watch?
Goose 312 Urban Wheat Ale.
All right.
Oh, that's kind of in the ballpark in a way.
It's sort of Belgian style, but
Hey, Eric.
yes.
Eric Fraunfelter.
Yes, sir.
If you drink the Lord beer that you're drinking, the Lord, is it sort of like call me Queen Bee?
Maybe.
You know what I'm talking.
They say it's, well, cheers, by the way. They say the Lord is a sweet-ish finish, and it's probably, you going to the bathroom, son?
Hey, you did this, Eric.
It's definitely got a sweet-ish finish to it. There's definitely some orangey notes to it. Definitely there's a Belgian yeast strain. There's definitely a little bit of that tartness to it, that tart lemoniness, that tart oranginess. Again, there is a little bit of graininess. It's almost like there's kind of like an oaty kind of a component and character about it. It's kind of oaty in the grain department.
Oh, they probably have oats.
Possibly is what I'm thinking about that.
And the citrus, Eric, is lemon? The citrus you're getting is lemon?
It's more, it's got like a lemony tartness to it. It's very orangey, I would say, first and foremost, with a lemony tartness in the background.
Okay.
I think that's the Belgian yeast kind of giving it that lemony sort of a tartness in the background. And a lot of these bog iron beers that I've had, being so close to the brewery, I've had a number of their beers. They all kind of, I don't know if they all use honey as part of their fermentation process, but this beer and a lot of their beers sort of have a honey-like sweetness to it. But, I mean, it's not a bad beer by any means. There's just a slight sharpness from the 9.3. It's barely perceivable, but you can tell it's a heavier beer. At 80 IBUs, I'd say the bitterness is there, but it's a little bit grassy and earthy. Maybe it is a little bit spicy. But it's fairly, they say sweet-ish, but it's dry enough where the bitterness kind of is there and then it goes away. I would say it's a very soft palate, light carbonation. It is kind of refreshing and it kind of has a high drinkability for what it is. But to be completely honest, this just doesn't have many more things I can describe about it than that. So
okay. I'd get a pretty good, you're painting a pretty good picture of it.
Not the most complex Belgian triple, but I'm curious from Erica. Oh, we'll get back to Erica Lions fan. I'm curious from Michael Kormaroff how his Golden Monkey triple is.
First of all, I'd like to show you how nice the lacing is on the top of it. Can you see the lacing in this?
Yes, sir.
So the lacing is staying very close, and it's, you know, you're getting the head retention coming back as you swish the glass, which is really nice. So the beer is holding up really well. I did have my first sip. I will describe it.
Drum roll, please.
I think your beer might be slightly more complex than my triple.
Now, the best part about this is you can't taste the alcohol at all.
Whoa.
Which is real dangerous. Because what that means is if you can hide 9.5% with the spices and whatever's in it, you could just down these and there's trouble ahead if you're not careful. Because it will eventually affect you. So the alcohol is not perceptible. You can taste, again, the Belgian yeast is perceptible. You can taste that, and you can taste, as John said before, coriander and cloves, and some of those backup spices are definitely there. But it goes down really smooth, and it goes down very easily. And that, you got to be careful.
But it's not overly spiced.
No, but there is spice there. But the spice is more background. You get the yeast is the main actor here, and then the spice behind it. But I think that's how you make a good Belgian triple, because what you're trying to do, you want the yeast to carry the beer, but you want the spices to make, their entrance. And I would say this is definitely more complex than the one you described, Eric.
Yeah, I've had that one before. That is a really good beer.
Right. Michael.
It's almost like an amped up Pilsner in a way in certain aspects, right?
Yes.
You want me to describe mines?
Sure. I totally skipped you. I apologize.
That's all right. I
was thinking about the triples.
This bottle is kind of heavy,
We'll get to Gabriel Solia next. So
I want to get
on deck, sir.
Okay, so the bottle's beautiful. Now the beer. All right. Here we go. I'm really enjoying it because I think Stella Artois has a very interesting spicy note, which is coming from the hops. As soon as you take a sip, it's got the spices dancing around your tongue like little fairies. They're going, and I'm not making that as a joke. That's really what it feels like. Little grassy, peppery spice notes dancing around the tongue, which I might add, natural ice presents that as well. And that's why I always like natural ice, because I was drinking natural ice over the weekend, and I was thinking about it, because when I drink beer, I think it, I drink on it and think on it. So I'm thinking about it, and I said, man, this beer, natural ice, it's fashionable to rip on it, but it's got a very interesting hop presentation. I can't get past it. It's so exciting. Well, this beer is the same way. Some people like to rip on that Stella Artois and all of that, but it has biscuity notes, like a biscuit, like a breakfast biscuit, so to speak, because they're using, I think, 2-row barley and flake maize or cornflakes. It's a nice yeasty, whatever you call that character. It's bubbly, but not too bubbly. It's carbonated, but not overly carbonated. The mouthfeel is medium, definitely got body to it. Even maybe you could argue high medium. The finish is mostly dry. And if you want to drink a lager, and I don't understand that, but I don't want to start a rant and rave. I could. I don't want to start a rant and rave, but I watch a lot of beer reviews, as you may know. And I hear people saying stuff like, well, what do they say? Something along the lines of, well, for a lager, it's okay. And something like lagers is not true craft beer or something. And I'm like, what are they talking about? That's a style of beer. I don't get that whole concept that it has to be an ale to be credible. That is totally against my whole working.
ESPN agrees with you.
My whole working theory. Yeah, I know they had a big fight at the baseball game today.
Oh yeah, they did.
One of those push. It was punches. So all right, but
But lagers are a part of beer. Period.
Fairly important. So my overall assessment. I know we're going to do scores later. I'm enjoying what I'm drinking, and it was worth the money. You pay more for Stella Artois, but let's be honest, you get more.
Yeah.
Get more. You shouldn't mind paying more. So
Do
That's
you ever notice, Ron? I'm sorry to interrupt here, but I have noticed that with Stella Artois, it is one of the green bottle presentations that seems to be, in my opinion, one that is skunked quite frequently. Are you not getting any skunked qualities with that beer?
No, I didn't get any. And when I went to Walmart and I bought this, I had the receipt down there if anybody needs to know the price. I can't quite remember. But I grabbed a few from the front and I held them, and then I grabbed to the back of, because they had them in the singles. I just grabbed one that was more under the shelf out of the light. So maybe if I'd have bought the one that was right on the shelf, because the stores, they're not going to protect the beer.
Right.
They're just not going to do that. That's not going to happen. So no, I popped it open. You saw me and I sniffed it and I didn't get any skunk.
I do like to buy it in the cans. I don't know if you guys get the cans, but
yes,
when I see it in the cans, I'll buy, we get the singles, and I do notice a little bit of difference in the taste. And maybe that's just, me thinking that the beer is going to be skunked. But, a lot of times it's not skunked, but I have had some bad experiences with the Stella Artois.
It's a risk.
Heineken. Heineken and Stella are the two.
It's a risk. It's a risk.
Cheers.
But Stuart Picard,
No relation to Jean-Luc.
no, Stuart Genriel Trail. Stuart, he made a very good point about a year or two ago. He said, if a beer's skunked, all you got to do is let it set in the glass for about a minute, and it's going to totally dissipate. And he's right about that. It always goes away. So
there you go.
So the whole skunking issue is almost in a way a non-issue. And Stuart knows. He knows. All right.
Now, will it be the same for Bud Ice?
I've never heard that, honestly.
Well, maybe. Bud Ice can be a little tricky, and I don't think Stuart was drinking Bud Ice ever.
Not in England.
But if you come to Louisiana, you can get the 18-ounce brown bottle Bud Ice. And
we have Robert Greenwood from Shreveport, Louisiana, chiming in. He says hello. We got Bart Robinson. Well, actually, before I talk about Bart Robinson, hello, sir. Robert Greenwood says, every time I have Stella, I was always wishing it is Beck's or Pilsner or Kel. All right. And Bart Robinson says, hey, guys, bought a 6-pack of Palm from Belgium, of course. I enjoy it regularly. Cheers.
I've never had that dang beer.
I want to hear if Gabriel Solia can turn his microphone back on. I want to hear about this Landshark lager.
Tell him we like the cap. I
Can
like
he
the
do
cap.
it? Can he do it?
I like the
Come
cap.
on. All right. Hello. Describe to us the flavors of Landshark lager, if you can.
And golden color appearance.
Okay, golden color appearance. All right.
What does it taste like to you?
Like sweet. Like a Kawama style beer.
Yeah, Island Lager.
Like a Corona imitation of it.
Good. Yeah, that's what it is. You're right.
Would you recommend that beer to people?
To drink it for first time, yes.
Oh, more experienced drinkers should avoid the Landshark, maybe?
I don't know. Everyone can drink it for first time.
All right.
I bought a 6-pack of this. This is my second one.
Excellent.
I would agree with him. It's worth trying,
For first time drinking it, it's okay.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go right to the other big boy. No pun intended. Urban Wheat Ale. I'm curious about that one now. Another Anheuser-Busch product.
Oh, by the way, here's a can of
Put his
Landshark.
microphone back on.
Here's
Eric, put your microphone on.
Here's a can of Landshark, by the way. You can get cans here.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. We want to hear what you have to say about Goose Island.
All right, Ron.
Go, Eric, go.
Well, the Goose 312 Urban Wheat Ale, which I am drinking here, it's not a Belgian style, but it kind of drinks like one because I'm getting a little bit of spices, a little bit of lemoniness, and it's a little hazy, kind of all your properties or characteristics of a kind of a Belgian style, and it's 4.2, so it's not as big as some of the beers you guys are drinking, but it's a good beer for what it is, and I tend not to buy Goose Island beers for some reason. I just don't know why.
Oh,
I just tend to kind of go past that aisle and onto, maybe to the Miller section, perhaps.
Like,
Whoa.
Eric, it's not an InBev thing. Is it something other than that?
No, I think
No,
it is
it's-
owned by InBev.
I'm asking Eric if it's an InBev thing, why he avoids it.
Oh, I see.
No. I just don't go towards the Goose Island beers. I had their IPA, which I didn't think was that great personally, but that's just me. But I think Oberon's a better wheat ale than 312. That's why I passed by it.
oh, wait a minute. You said you didn't care for the Goose IPA too much?
Yeah, I personally didn't care for it.
Oh, I love that beer.
Now,
Eh.
Eric, Oberon is
Alright.
made by Bell's.
Yeah, in Kalamazoo, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
I was actually there just last week. It's a nice brewery.
Oh, yeah. And that's where Kellogg's
Say
is.
hello to Larry Bell.
I did not see him there, no. And Kellogg's is in Battle Creek.
Oh, right. What's in Kalamazoo besides Bell's?
There's another something and small.
Arcadia.
Something there. Oh, yeah, University.
Eric, is it Arcadia?
Yeah, Western Michigan.
Arcadia, maybe?
Yeah, Arcadia Brewing, yes.
Ugh,
They're out of Kalamazoo. I don't know if you guys can get any of their stuff.
We
no.
can get some of their stuff sometimes. But we get pretty much the full line to the Bells here.
Yeah, but I'm just getting like a lemony note, maybe some spices, and I'm getting the same on the taste, more or less, on this. I would definitely not consider this a Belgian beer. The spices just aren't up front. But it's good for what it is. I just keep passing it by, and I figured I'd get one and, just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's that kind of beer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty low, too, at 4.2.
Ugh.
John, as far as the sour goes, how does that sour compare with other ones you've had?
This might very well be my favorite beer right now. I mean, no
Oh,
joke.
you heard it live, folks.
Wow.
I love the Golden Monkey, Michael. I know it seems like you're enjoying it. You
That's
get
terrific.
all of the spice and the character of an excellent Belgian Tripel, but you get that sour note, and it's not. I mean, it's there. It's a big sour beer, which I like. I mean, it's not for everybody. This beer is not for everybody. If you are not a sour beer connoisseur, if you do not like sour beers, you will not like this, because this hits you right in the jaw at the first sip.
I don't like them, John.
I know you don't, but you rate them accordingly, and I appreciate that, because the Monk's Cafe is one of my favorites as well, and you gave it an A+, but I don't really think you enjoyed it from watching your review of it.
No, it tasted gross, but it was an outstanding beer.
Right.
John
So-
Walker, ladies and gentlemen, Virginia. Hello,
So
sir.
anyway, yeah.
Where's that
Uh,
echo coming
hey,
from?
John.
Damn it. Excuse me.
So yeah, I love this beer. This is probably, I mean, this is probably a 98 out of 100. The only reason it doesn't get a perfect score for me is because it's 9.5%, and I love it so much that I would like to be able to drink a few more of them. But at 9.5%, you
Oh,
can't.
you'll be an alcoholic like Eric Fromfelter and myself.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I wish it was like 7% ABV. It would be perfect.
Shots
But yeah,
fired.
it's great beer.
Right. I'm just joking about what Eric we were told we were.
Talking about earlier on Face Crook.
Because that's your entire life. Apparently, you do nothing but post YouTube videos all day.
That's what my friends say.
know your entire life story based on your YouTube accounts.
Yeah, and I went to work. I went to work today, and then last night I went to a baseball game. And you know what I drank at the baseball game?
Water.
Right, tap water.
I was going to say coffee.
Tap water, and I did not get the shakes. And I watched the game.
All right.
No tap water.
And I got so irritated because I said, watch, they're going to lose this game. And they did. But anyway, an alcoholic would not go to a game and drink water for 3 hours, right? They would go to the game and have to have beer.
It's true. Yeah.
I don't have to have beer. I just happen to have drank it continuously since February 1996. Now, that's just, you know, I brush my teeth every day. I'm not addicted to brushing my teeth.
There you have it, sir, if you're watching me, Mark. But is John Walker drinking any beverage or beer? And if so, which beer are you drinking? Hey, look at that. All right.
Whoa, what is that?
That's
the Samuel Adams New England IPA.
Yeah, man.
Do I sound okay?
You sound good. All right. How's that beer?
This stuff's amazing. It's really good.
Whoa.
Is it better than Rebel?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, leaps and bounds better.
Very balanced. I don't know. I think it's the best New England style IPA I've ever had.
Oh, you just made.
I can't say I've had them all, but it's pretty damn good. Like this is gonna appeal well.
He kind of bugged out.
$9.99 a 4-pack of pints. It's expensive.
It sounded like he said $9.99.
Yeah.
Or 4-pack.
It says
That's
10,
expensive.
250 a pint. Nah, that's not too bad for craft beer, honestly.
No, it's about the same price we get it for in Massachusetts, and I think that is worth that price.
Or I
Yeah.
get $4.99
thing.
High Life pints.
Hey, John Dub, J Dub, you're kind of bugging out on your art.
J Dub. J Dub.
Is this better?
A little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of bugging out.
Food Lion just started carrying these, and they had them priced for $6.99 a 4-pack.
Well, that's a good price.
So I was like, "Yeah, mine. Y'all are losing money."
Probably.
I'll take about 3 of those.
It's like
please.
$60 a case.
And by the way, Backwoods Bastard, KBS, and Goose Island Bourbon County Stout sitting on the shelf, ain't moving.
Ooh.
I still got a few bottles of Bourbon County in the store.
It ain't moving, buddy.
You can't find
But-
it here unless you're willing to pay big buku bucks for it.
What would you rate that New England style IPA from Sam Adams if you had to rate it?
A+ in a heartbeat.
Boom. All right.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom.
And I gotta know.
I really like it, but I guess I'm being biased.
I gotta know if our good buddy Gabriel Salia had to rate Landshark Lager, what would he rate Landshark Lager?
D-.
Oh,
No way.
come on! What you gonna rate that beer?
Middle.
It's about
I
a
don't know,
C
maybe
range.
Yes. 5 or 7.
Is there any other beers that you would drink over that Landshark Lager?
Milwaukee's Best Ice.
There you go, Jay Terrio.
I
I got a 30-pack in the fridge. I love it.
This is a Belgian beer examination, folks. Come on now.
Bud Ice.
All right.
Beer that was introduced in Jacksonville, Florida in 2000.
Natural Ice.
Boom. He's liking all the ice beers. He should have been
All the
here
ice
last week. No,
Wow.
should have been here on Tyler's channel on Friday. It was all ice beer.
I love ice beer.
Miller High Life.
Boom.
Yeah, there we go. Woo!
I
Oh,
love
I
ice beer.
What would you rate? Let's see here. What would you rate Golden Monkey, Michael Cormoran?
Heineken was a
I
good
would
one.
just rate it a little bit under what John gave the sour Golden Monkey. I would give it a 97.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's excellent. It's an A+ beer. I mean, it's really good.
Wow, that's outstanding. That's unbelievable.
Robert Greenwood agrees with you, Gabriel. Milwaukee's Best Ice. I'm with you, man.
That's
There you
good.
Oh, I love that beer. It has such a tangy flavor.
But a 97. What stops you from going any higher than that?
Because I've had real Belgian
Maybe a
triples.
green.
I've had real Belgian triples that were a little bit better. And Jay, the company that you mentioned the last time, Which is the most famous Belgian West? It's West, not Westerveld. What's the most famous Belgian beer?
Westletarian.
Westletarian. I've had their
12.
I've had their triple, whichever number it is.
You can't see his face.
I'm
No,
sorry.
we can't normally.
Here I come.
Hey, Gabriel, he has a little camera problem. It keeps drooping.
The camera will not stay in
Right.
position. The camera.
You can see his baldness.
Oh my God.
Hey, wait a
Oh
minute.
no.
I can't stay on here much longer. Wait a minute.
Jay, which is the triple? What number? Is it
I think
10?
it's the West Flatarian 12. But let me say this. That beer was $85 a six-pack.
I know.
Now, that ain't cheap. But people ask me oftentimes, what is the best beer you ever had? I say, there's no argument. I always say West Flatarian 12. It is the best. Now, is it a pure beer? No, they add candy sugar. It's a Belgian beer. They're not under the Reinheitsgebot. It doesn't have to be water, barley malt, hops, and yeast. For all I know, they could add corn to it. But it's awesome. I don't care what they add to it. It's great. It was a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I bought a six-pack. I bought my friend Paul a six-pack. He's still got one bottle in the fridge. I don't recommend saving it that long. It's not high enough ABV. But it was just like a different world. It was like I do beer reviews, and I do them all the time. And then there's West Flatarian 12. That's like a different channel almost. It's like a different universe, a different paradigm.
Somebody turned me on to one, Jay. I didn't buy it. Somebody turned me on to it. He says, you're never going to have this experience again unless you're lucky enough to find it. And I've never seen it. I've been able to see, I think, the 10, which is a double of the same line.
There are other varieties, but if you go to their monastery, they only sell the 12. The monks there drink a different product day to day. You can't drink the 12 all day long. It's about 8%. You'd be on your knees, But it's just like, incredible. I've had it twice. It's just you can't get over it. And I had people when I made the video that morning with the West Flatarian 12, immediately my phone lit up and I had people calling me saying, I want it, I've got the cash, and I can make it happen. And they were like serious. So I was meeting people in parking lots. I was exchanging cash. They were giving me beer, money.
Walter White.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. I never had an experience where people were willing to drive from Houston, Texas to Louisiana to get West Flatarian 12, for instance.
Wow.
Where people were being threatened to be fired because they sold me 2 6-packs of it. That's how big that was. That was pretty much, there's never going to be a time that I do beer reviews that's going to top that.
And Ron, you have a glass too, right? You have a West Flatarian 12 glass as well, don't you?
Yeah. Well, what happened there was
Chimay.
no.
See, what had happened was
The 6-pack came with 2 glasses and 6 beers. So I bought the 6-pack. It was $85, like I said. And I said, okay, I'm going to buy 2 6-packs. So I bought a second 6-pack for my friend. About an hour later, I get a phone call from the store. I won't name it. They said, okay. So they said, hey, could you bring back that 6-pack, the second one you bought? I said, what are you talking about? I paid money for this. Well, there's a man who's screaming and hollering. There's a guy driving in from out of the area, and he was expecting to get that, and now he can't get it because you bought it. And a lot of heads are going to roll, and, these people need money. They got electric bills to pay. They got children in school. I was like, okay.
Tough luck, man. Tough luck is what I would have said.
Yeah, my friend Paul was telling him, he was telling me, tell those people, screw you. That's your fault. You sold the product, you bought it. I was like, no, I can't do that to people. So I brought it back and they gave me a credit, So so I should have had 4 glasses, right? But I kept one and I gave the other glass to Paul, and I took what was it, 2 or 3 West Flatirron. I sold one on the black market, and then I gave my friend Paul one, and he's still got one saved. So, oh, and by the way, I would give Stella Artois an A- at the worst case scenario, and I would give it a solid A in the best case scenario. It's a delight to drink. I mean, these people that drink this beer and say it's a D- and it's a 12 out of 100, they're crazy. I think they're just crazy.
That's a slam. If you honestly, if you rate it that low, then you either just A, don't like beer at all, or B, you're just slamming the beer. And that,
right. How can it be a 12 out of 100?
That's baloney.
You're telling me that the beer is 88% horrible. Get out of here with that.
No way.
Hey, Jay, what's the date on that beer?
Oh, okay. Hold on. By the way, here's a great Dortmunder style export lager, which you'll never see, and I barely ever found. It's called Special Export.
The Heilemann Special Export, huh?
This is a white whale. This is a white whale. I mean, it's unbelievable. All right. Anyway. All right.
Great White Buffalo.
I'm about to make a point.
Okay. Stella Artois. Okay. The date, it says Best Buy, January 2019. The code, the Julian code is L0088200 at 2200 hours, 53 seconds.
All right. That L0088, that means it was made on the 8th day of 2018.
Okay.
That's really fresh. Now, up until the recall, there was a recall on it.
Yeah, there was no glass in my beer.
Yeah. I'll see Stella coming out of the warehouse 5 and 6 months old.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'll go into other distributorship territories, and I'll find it 5 and 6 months old, even older. I've seen it in coolers with like 4 months left on it, and that's a year date.
Wow.
One thing that bothers me is why is this beer sitting so long? Heineken doesn't do that. Stella and Corona doesn't do that. Well, they kind of do, but Heineken, they at least get their beer out within 2 months. Which I think that's
inexcusable. It's inexcusable. But I went to Walmart. There it was, fresh, and that's why I'm bragging on it. It tastes so good.
That's the recall, honestly.
Let's see, Michael Komarov. What's your thoughts on this? Why is that beer old all the time on the shelf?
I have a feeling the main company that manufactured it probably doesn't follow up on what's going on with their beer, I would think. But the distributor has to take partial blame for the situation because they have to follow it up. I mean, we have this 3-tier system, and we're all supposed to be working together. So if bad beer is out there that's old, they should pull it off the shelves.
Right.
I can find an old tankard ale from 16 still on the shelf.
Hell yeah.
I think that the distribution for the most part is pretty good as far as the freshness dates, but I don't think anybody's holding these retailers accountable. And then you have these small, your average Joe liquor stores, package stores, gas stations, whatever, that are keeping these beers on the shelf long after their prime is past due, because we have big, liquor stores and gas stations are the big thing in Georgia, and I think distribution is okay. I think the dates are okay when they ship them out. I think that they just sit on the shelf forever, and the distributors are not coming in and telling the retailers to pull their product from the shelves. That's what I think.
I gotta say
that back if they did. I was in that. I worked at a party store. I know how it works.
We have breaking news from the chat tonight. We have a gentleman. Hello, sir. His name is the Manchester Missup. He says Stella is never an A.
He's wrong.
Oh, damn! And
I say C- for Stella.
Eric, ask him what he would what he would rate it. Ask him what he would rate it.
What would you rate? What would you rate this beer there, Manchester Piss Up? miss up, a piss up.
But if he
What would
gives
you
it a
rate
D-
this? The
if he
Stella
gives it-
Artois.
If he gives
C
it a D
minus,
minus,
C minus.
You can hear us, so chime in on the comments, sir.
B plus.
Just a B plus, it would be all right.
Every A, yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
Man,
C
look,
minus.
Every L there.
minus. That beer is so delicious. That beer is so well made. I
No,
cannot.
it's, every time I have it, it's skunkier than hell. Every time.
Well, that's why I was saying I think it's
That's
a
a
great
store
beer,
problem.
But that's why I was
so
asking
what?
earlier.
Then take it off the shelf and rotate your
No.
stock.
We have.
That's why I
That's
asked
things.
earlier about the skunkiness, because if you
I
can get
agree
it in
with
a can, it's going to be great every time.
We got two
You're right.
things here.
You're right.
One is
You're right.
Robert Greenwood.
You're right.
He says the distribution guys just warehouse it and keep loading it onto shelves, and the stores don't check it at all. The distro guys just try to sneak onto the shelves what they have in the warehouse.
That's right. And I've talked to distributors that tell me they do all those
I
hijinks.
work for the distributor.
And I hear about all this hijinks.
The other one is a Backwoods Billy. Hello, sir. He says he has seen old beers. The wholesalers are placing them at a discount to smaller liquor stores. The distributors are getting paid to pull the old beers by the brewing companies and then reselling it to smaller liquor stores at a discount.
Oh,
Is that true there, John Walker? Any of that true or false?
And an AB house distributorship, they would not. AB would not like that. They do audits on us. But anything big box, AB, like Bud, Bush, Michelob Ultra, they really audit us on that. Even the Goose Island products, they audit us.
Yeah, they can make your life very difficult if they find out that you're playing fast and loose with their quality
Now, I
control.
will say this though:
Go ahead.
a lot of the distributors focused on the craft. You can find 6-8-month-old craft beer in the back of a cooler if you looked hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I believe it. You can easily find in my area. You can easily find Shipyard Brewing Company beers still from December 2017.
Well,
easily.
That's true. But the regulations for craft beer are a lot different. A lot of times they recommend you age their products, and they don't have the quality control and the means to follow up and do the audits that these big companies do for their main products. So they have no way to regulate that.
Yeah, because Anheuser-Busch can hurt us severely by, jacking up the prices on the stuff they sell into us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would hurt. So, we have to follow their rules.
What does Gabriel Solia think of old beer? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What's your thoughts?
Okay.
What kind of
bye-bye,
beer?
Eric, Lions fan.
see you later. But Stella
Take care.
Artois gets a C minus, Ron. Sorry.
Any beer,
That's
any
a war. You start a war.
any beer that's past the expiration date or past the best by date. What do you think of old beer there, Gabriel Solia? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. I never had old beer before.
Good. All right. There's the man.
That speaks well for Phoenix, Arizona. See now.
Did I ever rate this lower?
You have
Belgian?
not.
No.
I didn't rate this Belgian
I'm
style
about to
triple.
jump off of here in 4 minutes.
I've noticed in a lot of cans of even like IPAs or bottles of IPAs that more of it's not a really, really, really yeasty beer, even though it kind of looks cloudy. There's not huge chunks of sediment anywhere that I can tell. But I've noticed, like I said, even with IPAs and New England style hazy beers, that when you get towards the bottom of the can or the bottle, it seems like whatever is the yeast strain or the sediment that's in the beer ends up giving it a lot more flavor than when you first started. So this is much better than when it first started. For me right now, I'm definitely getting way more orangey notes, but primarily way more sweet, spicy, kind of yeasty notes, which is very preferable. And that's sort of what I attribute to triples, having that spicy yeast component and having that fruity estery kind of a note to it. So initially I might have only given it a C. I could give this about an 83 right now, the way that it is. It's still not the most flavorsome beer, and I'm still wanting more yeast strain throughout the beer, more tartness to it, and more malts to the beer, but it's much better when you get towards the sediment or the yeast at the bottom of the can. So, yeah, at this point, 83 out of 100. It's just not the most flavorsome triple.
Minus on your scale?
Yeah, it's just not the most flavorsome triple on planet Earth.
I would call that a B. Hey, Eric.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
B, but a B. You ever notice that Tripels have sort of like a melon flavor, like a
Kind of.
cantaloupe or a honeydew melon? I always find that Tripels have that melon flavor. I don't like that, but they.
I wouldn't have thought about that, but that's totally noticeable now that you say that.
Yeah, I might go buy some Tripel.
I think when you mix, with the Tripels, you get that allspice, that coriander, those different spices, and you mix that with a little bit of the lemon citrus and the notes that you get. I think when you combine those flavors, a lot of times, I can see where you would get those flavors, kind of from the combination of the different flavors that are commonly.
John Neely.
Yeah.
I want to say one more thing before I get off. Yeah, so there is I think y'all drink a few Tripels and think about that melon, especially honeydew or
cantaloupe. Yeah.
Here is the Cockburns and Tony Port, fine Tony Port. I gotta say, man, I cannot wait to get to this bottle. This stuff here, it has like I know you're getting it really into ports, and we're gonna probably do port hangouts. But this thing here, it is so unpleasant. It smells like.
Oh, you're smelling the wine already.
Yeah. Oh, I've been smelling.
Now that's the one. That's the one that you've had that you've got the peppery notes and the really weird, like off-putting aromas and flavors.
Like if you drank wet red wine, would you want to dump black pepper in it? I would not. So it's like the aroma is offensive. You smell it, you're like, ugh, and then you taste it.
So just really quickly here, Robert Greenwood says Jay is the oracle, and then Robert Greenwood says William Kepley is another oracle.
But I'm a reluctant oracle.
And then Backwoods Billy says the melon character is from the East. And John H. Pierre, hello, says we should do a Cabernet hangout, Jay.
I actually 100% agree with that.
And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to San Francisco, and then halfway through the week, I'm going up to wine country. So maybe I'll do a Cabernet review of my own.
Be sure to wear flowers in your hair, Eric.
I'm going to listen to Jimi Hendrix and Santana. Thank you.
Jay, before you leave.
And Jefferson Starship and
no Janis Joplin.
Okay, Jay, can you get stuff from Boulevard in Kansas
Woo,
City?
yes.
No.
Oh.
What? I get that.
Boom.
John, you get this?
I don't know about that beer, but we can get Boulevard.
I've had that beer once.
This
is good.
Is amazing stuff. This is their Imperial Stout.
Isn't it supposed to be sort of a Belgian influence to it?
Let me see what they say.
I think there is a Belgian yeast strain it's brewed with.
What's the ABV on that?
9.760 IBUs.
It does have a Belgian yeast strain, I believe.
I think you might be right. It doesn't say it on the bottle, but you might be correct.
Allagash makes a Belgian.
You gotta get off of here.
All right.
Take care.
All right, Jonathan. It was good talking to you.
Hey, J-Dubs, it's good hearing from you.
J-Dubs.
I'll be back on.
Cheers. Yeah, Allagash makes a Belgian style stout, although they also make it perfectly clear that they're using a Belgian kind of an influence to make the stout, and the Belgians don't really make stouts. That might be the case with that Imperial Stout as well.
I'll let you know.
All right.
Well, Belgian ale, I was thinking about this before we came on the air, and Belgian style really doesn't mean a whole lot because they make every kind of style in Belgium, like everything. So it's sort of like a misnomer. You go to Belgium, you can get light beer, you can get regular beer. You can get
right.
anything. So
yeah, Backwoods Billy agrees with you on that. He says, yeah, Jay did a review of a white IPA. He uses Belgian yeast.
It's kind of like, in Belgium, they're probably like, oh, let's drink an American-style beer. Okay, Well, that leaves you got Budweiser, you got a stout, you've got Pilsner, you've got IPAs, you've got that. Pretty much doesn't narrow it down at all.
I'm sure, as Gabriel Salia would tell us, that means that they're drinking Milwaukee's best ice, right?
No, well, what I'm saying is like this. Like, okay, like you got to look at history. Belgium was part of Germany until the 1790s. So they were under the Reinheitsgebot. Water, barley malt, hops, and yeast. That's it. Okay, boom. So then, then Belgium was taken away from the German Empire, and it became its own country, and in 1815. And so now they're no longer under that control. So they can start adding corn flakes, spices, candy sugar, and so the Belgians, they had all this creative beer making. Some people don't like that, some people do, but that's sort of like they're more a wide open approach, right? Okay, so you go to Belgium and get 11% knockout bum juice.
Bum juice.
Yeah, right.
That's a very good point, Ron, that you bring up.
You can get really expensive beers. Okay, what?
That's an excellent point that you bring up, because they still, a lot of beers, they still make sure that you as the consumer knows this on the label, talking about the purity law of 1516 or whatever the heck it was.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's not necessarily, I mean, you can't, if you brew by that process and you put it on the label, great. But that's not a requirement anymore. And people that use that as a brewing or use that on their labels and in their marketing, that's more of a gimmick, maybe.
Well, wait. It is a requirement for Germany.
Okay. Yes. But there are so many German style beers that the lines are kind of blurred, I guess is what I'm saying.
Backwoods Billy says the biggest joke is the German purity law.
Well, my only point with that is the German purity law is kind of like
outdated. Well,
yes, but I mean, it's great to see a beer that has that on the label, but I guess what I'm saying is that I don't expect that too much. I mean, when you do see it, it's almost more of like a hidden gem versus it's not the norm anymore, and people are not they don't care so much anymore.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Gabriel Salia? Do you want your beer to only be brewed with hops, water, yeast, and malt, or do you appreciate other ingredients in your beer as well?
Yes.
I'm going to assume that meant other ingredients are a welcome addition to the beer. What do you think, Michael Komarov?
I think they're always a nice added addition.
Yes, as long as the taste is good.
Correct.
Right.
But what's your thought there?
Taste is the most important thing in beer.
It's the taste. Yes.
Yeah.
Robert Greenwood says Jay has discussed this at length in his videos, the German purity laws. That's probably true.
I just think it's fascinating. Where obviously that was created to keep beer pure, and
really it was
super high. But
really it was created to make sure they didn't use food products to make beer.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah.
Well, we just got our asses handed to us by Jay. There you go, Jay.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, sugar, I mean, anything other than those four main ingredients is going to be considered a food product, right?
Well, they didn't want, what I'm saying, I'm not trying to upstage anybody. I'm saying the German government didn't want people using corn or rice to make beer because they wanted corn and rice to be used to make food.
Right. Yes.
It wasn't really so much they were worried about beer quality. They were worried about food shortages. But then people started to think, oh, they were so concerned about the purity of beer. No, not really.
Right. I guess that's kind of my point in a certain sense is because of all the adjuncts and stuff that are added to beer nowadays. That the purity law, it's still there and it still holds true, but it's not saying that it in itself is a gimmick, but it's kind of, I guess it's outdated is what I'm trying to say.
No, I mean, you're right. You're right. It is today a gimmick because there's no food shortages in Germany, right? So now it's just they're saying we want German beer to be German beer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, you know, other countries, Belgium, France, the United States, they had no concern about that. So you had Kronenbourg in France, which was made with adjunct. You had Carlsberg in Belgium, which was not made with adjunct. You had Heineken that was made with adjunct until the guy for Samuel Adams, Cook, started making trouble in 1985. You had the American beers, which were never under that rule, so they use corn and rice. So there's a lot of mythology in beer, and it's really interesting to kind of break through the mythology.
Yeah.
Get to the reality. I was just arguing, and I know I have to deal with that tomorrow, with a guy from the Czech Republic. And he was, oh yeah, he was coming at me heavy about Budweiser, and I said, oh boy, because you know that's an ongoing feud.
But
Eric, I have a point to make.
Go
If
ahead.
we are discussing Belgian style,
Correct.
John Neely and I were talking about Aldi, which is a store chain that does import beers from Belgium.
Right.
The one I'm going to mention to you, John, it's called Kinroo, Kinroo Blue.
Okay.
And this is a Belgian white ale that they sell in Connecticut. I don't know if they sell it in Alabama where you would
Connecticut.
go. They sell it in Connecticut. We can't get it in our Aldis in New York yet. They still haven't gotten beer in the stores. But I got this through Connecticut, and it was not great, but it was at least something which I would buy again. And it wasn't super expensive. It was like $7 a six-pack. It's brewed in Belgium by a major company, but a company that does not brew a lot of their own stuff. They do mostly for other companies.
Contracting.
You talking about
brewing.
Martins?
It's in Bouchot, Belgium. Bouchot is the city it's brewed in.
I think you're talking about Martins.
It's possible.
Because they're a huge company, and most of their money comes from contract production.
It's possible it's them. But, Jay, do you have Aldi's in Louisiana? ALDI, which is a chain that owns Trader Joe's?
I'm very familiar with Aldi. I have been to many Aldis, like the one in Florida City on U.S. Highway 1, and others, in the south suburbs of Chicago. We have Trader Joe's, and there is a little crossover between those two, not a tremendous amount because they have a different concept. But yeah, I would like to go.
Gabriel has a problem. I don't know what's going on in the back.
Okay. I would like to go to Aldi and buy some more of their private label stuff that I did buy back before I did video reviews, and I regret that because when I went to Aldi up in the Chicagoland area, I bought German beers and other things, and I was drinking them, and I thought, you know, they're not the greatest, but they're kind of like what you get with store brand. You know, they're like pretty good, but they always have something like I'm sorry, I keep saying like. They have something that's inferior in some ways to your major brands. It's hard to put your finger on it, but there's always something lacking in some way.
It's almost like, Jay, they're trying to appeal to a consumer who wants to pay maybe a little bit less than what it costs for a major brand, and it's not going to reach the level where it's as good, but at least is good.
Yeah, and I've encountered that similar phenomena at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is interesting. They'll have their own brand of sherry, their own brand of port wine, their own brand of
blended Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, their own brand of French
name tag lager,
French brandy. Oh, don't even
Simple
talk
Times lager.
Don't even talk about the beer. So the beer is atrocious. Okay, the brandy and the port wine and the sherry wine. What do you mean, haha, something's going on?
Oh, no, Eric made a comment. I was just responding to that.
You know what? Backwoods Billy talked about if you can adjust the malt or use a liquid hops that is just adjusting the pH color, and it's still an adjunct. At the end of the day, it's still an adjunct beer. If we're going back to adjunct beer discussion.
Right. Well, I'll say this real fast, and I'm going to get off because I want to go lay in bed. Yeah. But I have a Dawn Busters tomorrow. But the Trader Joe's, you get like their sherry. It comes from a company in Spain. It's a reputable company, but it just tastes grim. It's like you drink the sherry and you say, "Oh, no wonder it's $4.99." You're letting Gabe, you're releasing Gabe from his.
Yeah, he's going. We're going to talk to him later. He's going nuts.
I have a question. What were those lights?
You did a pretty good job. What?
What were those lights?
I have no clue. He was like all cross-eyed. Oh,
the rain going
Did you boot it? What happened?
There were lights going off in Gabe's house.
I had to release Gabriel.
It was strange, but I thought, I was over there rinsing my glass out, and I was thinking to myself, that wasn't too bad. He might be able to join us again in the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Eric, I've seen worse.
Yeah, don't even go there, son.
Club Moses 69.
Ah, good Lord. I don't even know that guy, really.
And you brought him in, and I brought in Thomas. I brought in Black Metal Troy, so I can't say too much.
All right, we're par for the course, right?
But
two wrongs make a right. Anyways.
But Trader Joe's, you got to watch out for that place. Their stuff is peculiar. I don't know. I would like to do one night like a hangout on Trader Joe's beers. That would be a very strange hangout.
Wow, I don't know. Can you join that, Michael Kormaroff?
Yes, we have them. I can get full line of stuff. They have.
Maybe
I'm go to Atlanta and get Trader Joe's, but I have Aldi right here.
Same thing.
Maybe I'm thinking about Walmart.
Don't have the same beer.
It's different.
Right, but it's the same. It's the same company.
It's the same theory, but it's different.
Same theory, right? Same working theory, right?
I might
John, I want you to go and
Walmart.
look at their beers, and even if you invest in a 6-pack, it's not going to set you back enough that you can't handle it.
No, it's $3.99 for a 6-pack.
It depends which thing it is. The Belgian ones are a little more expensive.
I might be thinking of Walmart that you don't have in your area, although John H. Pierre randomly chimes in and says Lagunitas makes good beers. Correct. And hopefully in 2 weeks, I'll be going to Petaluma, California to check out Lagunitas at their brewery.
That'll be sweet. Be a very nice tour.
They have a new sour beer, Eroica. It's a sour beer aged 6 months in oak barrels.
I should buy that. I saw one bottle at the store, and I should have bought that one bottle.
Eroica. All right, last thing. If I ever go to Atlanta, I want to bring John and Neil a bottle of 100 Pipers, and maybe, I don't know how this is going to go over, a bottle of the white port, right?
Yes, I haven't seen the white port. I left you a message earlier. Maybe I'm just not looking close enough, but everything is red and tawny. Ruby and tawny. That's it.
It might be one of those kind of things that's sold only in certain parts,
What's your overall? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I did find, and I'll probably end up buying it. There was like a 2001 bottle, and it's got the special seal on it. It's actually imported from Portugal. They all have the special seal, kind of like the ones I hadn't opened them yet, but the ones the pictures that I sent you, when you take off that black little label, they've got the seal
right
down the side of the bottle, the paper seal, and it says product of Portugal. Anyway, there were 2 or 3 bottles that I saw at the liquor store today that were like from 2000, 2001, and they were, $18.99 a bottle. And these are aged. These are 20% port wines from the early 2000s.
Nice.
That I could get for less than $20.
Okay. Now we're talking.
It's a risk. Some of them are good and some of them taste like glue.
Well, true.
Oh my God, glue.
Hey, everything's a risk. I'll take my chances.
That would be good for me because I drink too much beer on a daily basis, right?
According
So
to
you want to try drinking
All right.
blue? You think?
Yeah, of course. But I got to ask you before you go, because I'm going to ask everybody at the end of this year. But what are your thoughts? And I keep forgetting to ask this before we start drinking the beers, but I seem to ask this every time at the end. What are your thoughts? What were your thoughts going into Belgian beers, and have your thoughts changed, or are they the same as they are now?
my thoughts
Jay.
for that, it would be generally the type of stuff y'all were drinking, the spice tripel type items.
Mhm.
And my thoughts were, I'm going to bring in Stella Artois as like a little alternative thing that nobody was expecting. And then my final thought was, no, it hadn't really changed because Belgian beer is sort of like a smorgasbord. You can just kind of grab what you want, which I like.
And Robert Greenwood says, America's roots are deeply connected to Belgium. Our system of life basically came from them, amongst others.
All right.
Like England.
And maybe France, right?
Right. Hey, Robert Greenwood. He comments on my videos all the time. All right, y'all take care now.
All right.
Take care, Jay. We'll see you soon.
Laissez les bon temps rouler.
Right, let the good times roll.
All
So
right.
long, folks.
Cheers. So, Michael Kormaroff, what were your thoughts
Okay.
going into the examination?
I would
Have your
never
thoughts on Belgian beers changed any, or are they the
I
same?
would never say that I'm a Belgian or Belgian style beer specialist, even though it's a style that I definitely have delved into, and I
Yeah.
do like it. I do enjoy it. But it's funny, you do, as Jay said, have a full range of beers just in their singles, doubles, triples, and quads. Just those four styles are a massive category. And there are American companies making those styles as well. So there's a lot of beer to go through, and there's sour beers, blended sours, and a whole bunch of lambics and others made in Belgium. So it's a wide style, a big country, and the Belgian style. So since I did have a triple that's brewed in the United States, Belgian style, which I have had before and do enjoy, it's just a further, tasting of the style. And obviously, if somebody turns me on to one, or if I can buy one, I'll continue to try the style because there's a lot of interesting things in it.
Yeah.
Excellent. What were your thoughts? And now, what are your thoughts of Belgian beers there, John Enile?
I agree 100% with what Michael said. I came into this expecting to like the beer that I've brought because I've had many, many Belgian Tripel beers before. When you take a Belgian triple and you combine it with a sour beer, two of my favorite styles, you get the Sour Monkey, which is 98, 99 out of 100. I mean, it's so close to perfect. It's just an excellent, excellent beer. The 9.5% is masked so well. For somebody that doesn't really like beer, who might be used to, say they grew up drinking Bud Light, Budweiser, your macro lagers at parties and whatever, if they were to try something like this or the Golden Monkey or I don't know, any of the really the true Belgian beers, I think they would fall in love with beer. This is what beer was meant to taste like. This is like the mastery of the product. I mean, and you're getting the best possible thing that you can get with this beer. So, I mean, this is nothing like Budweiser. If you don't like Budweiser, fine. Don't say you don't like beer. Try this, and then if you still don't like it, then fine. Maybe beer's not for you. But the Golden Monkey, the Victory Sour Monkey, any of the Chimay beers, Saint Bernardus, anything like that. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Cheers to that. We got Backwoods Billy. His comments are, he says, my thoughts are the same. I drink a few local craft breweries, Belgian pale ales. Let's see here. What else does he say? Blue Moon, Shock Top, some other brand names from his local area. He also says the Belgians, the triple Belgian quads are nice. And I agree with pretty much all of that. And I also agree with Jay in saying They brew Belgian style beers are a vast line or have a vast range of taste buds. You can go from your Belgian wit beers, which is what I originally bought, but then I drank it. And then you can go to things that I really enjoy. Well said, John, says Jean. There you go. So what I think of when I go into Belgian beers is they took me so long to get into. IPAs and Belgian beers took me so long to get into because their flavors are just hard to grasp. When you're a new beer drinker, sometimes these can be really hard beers to get into. They can be anywhere from really fruity and yeasty to downright sour, tart, funky, and everything in between, and including a Pilsner like Jay's from Stella Artois.
And Eric, you mentioned before that there aren't too many Belgian stouts, but I think there are some. In other words, some companies do brew Belgian stouts.
Yeah, I was mentioning that earlier because of Michael or John Anile's Allagash glass. Allagash, and I went there once a few years ago. Beautiful brewery, a beautiful place. They make a Belgian style stout. It's called the Allagash Black, and they admit that there's no Belgian stout, but they're using techniques and especially a Belgian style of a yeast strain to kind of guess if Belgians were to make a stout, what it might taste like. So it does everything you would want a darker beer to do. And it does everything you want that style of Belgium to do with a tart yeast strain in there.
Right. And you know what? 2 or 3 years from now, that will be a style. Just like the black IPA was not a style 2 years ago, but if you look at the guidelines now, it actually has its own style, its classification. And I mean, I've got the beer Bible in the other room, and I pull it out, and it's got a whole section on black IPA. So beer is expanding, the different styles are expanding. So I love the combination of all these different styles, and like, you know, it will be a style soon enough.
There's the thing we didn't mention really that Backwoods Billy just did on the channel on the chat. He talked about the Brett. Brett is B-R-E-T. It's short for a yeast strain called Brettanomyces. So what happens in beers, in a lot of beers that are brewed with Brettanomyces, or what's the one that you like to drink the beers with, the Lactobacillus? What they do is they're open. Tell me if I'm wrong in the chat, Billy. They're open fermentation tanks. So literally what's ever in the air, they open up the fermentation tanks, these breweries, and literally what's ever in the air, the yeast is eating that, and the yeast converts particles from the air, the atmosphere, into alcohol. Such a cool thing to think about, how yeast strains can eat the atmosphere and create something that makes you happy on a Friday night. That's cool. So that's what I like about beer. That's what I like about Belgian beer.
This actually says on the bottle, sour Brettanomyces tripel.
By the way, Backwoods Billy just said the beer certification program guidelines just made New England IPA a style this year. Hallelujah.
Good.
Anyways, what were you saying there, John and Ale?
He was mentioning about on the bottle of the Jolly.
I was just saying that the Brettanomyces is it's well labeled on this beer. And anytime you have lactobacillus and Brettanomyces, they kind of work in conjunction. So typically, when you have one, you have the other.
Yes.
So that's all I was saying.
So,
Eric, there's a company in Michigan called Jolly Pumpkin. They're in Dexter, Michigan, and all they brew is sours. So they don't really have to worry if some loose thing comes into a beer, because with a lager, you don't want sour components to hit your lager. Even though, who knows, maybe someday there'll be a sour lager. I don't think
Jolly Pumpkin's a big one. Jolly Pumpkin's a big one. And the other big one that I know that I think gets I don't know if it gets nationwide in the United States, but another one that gets really good distribution, I've noticed, is, and now the company's going to escape me. Oh, my good dear Lord. It's from Ohio.
What do you think?
Rivertown Brewing Company.
Right. I've heard of
It's
them.
another big one that does some sour beers.
They have a souring program.
And correct. And hopefully, here's another plug for the San Francisco trip in 2 weeks. Hopefully, when I get out to Napa Valley and Sonoma Valley, when I go to Russian River Brewing Company to get Pliny the Elder or younger, whichever one's available year-round, they do a really, I hear, and I've seen it on the Bitter Beer Authority. Check them out on YouTube. I've seen them drink a couple of their beers from Consecration and Damnation, which are supposedly damn excellent sour beers. So hopefully I can get some of those. The folks of mine would never touch sour beers with the 10-foot pole, but they do like saisons, so maybe we can get them into a sour beer somehow.
Are either of you going to Tyler's thing on Friday with cider?
I'm going to show you a cider in a little bit, and yes, I am.
Okay.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I didn't even know that's what it was. I haven't.
He did it by some kind of vote.
I voted for ciders last week on Facebook chat, and then 4 people voted for Keystone Ice that nobody could get.
I'll probably. Are we still live?
Yes,
we still are.
Let's do that. Let's continue the conversation off air. So next week, here's the schedule of events for the next 2 weeks. Next week, William Kepley better get his behind here. He came up with next week's examination topic, the 6% Beer Club. Bring a beer between 6% and 6.9.
I know what I'm bringing.
I got a saison for that.
Doesn't matter the style. Anything.
Absolutely, it does not matter the style. And then that week of the 23rd, I'm going to be in San Francisco. So let's use Tyler's video for the week. And then we'll have to talk a little bit about what we want to do in the next 3 weeks. We have a lot of topics that I've come up with, and maybe we'll collaborate on that.
We might do Evil Twin on May 2nd.
Ooh, yeah, let's do that. Evil Twin, yeah, May 2nd.
Get Evil Twin, John?
Oh yeah, I can get Evil Twin. That's a good one.
Let's go with that for now. I wrote that down. I like that. So, thank you for all of your insight and knowledge, Backwoods Billy. Your battery went to 0, Gabriel Celia, but unfortunately, I booted you out. We'll talk about that later. Oh man, I just said that. The Landshark Lager looked amazing. Thank you for joining us all from Louisiana, Brooklyn, Newnan, Georgia, home of neo-Nazi rallies, and all the others. Until next time, cheers. Keep tasting those great beers. I probably offended you all, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.